students, I hope you all are doing good. So a very warm welcome to you all in the chemistry sessions. What have you revised from the last session? So in the last session, what did we discuss was something related to the neurological active drugs. That means those which are stimulants, which stimulate our nervous system, they stimulate our activities, they uplift our mood, or maybe there are some which are actually reducing the activity, that means suppressing the activity, making us sleep. So that is what the neurologically active drugs are. So we were on to, first what we have discussed was the tranquilizers, and next we had discussed was analgesics. So let's move on to that. Neurologically active drugs. So in it we have got two categories, we all know that, that is the tranquilizers, that is the first, tranquilizers, and what we had discussed in the tranquilizers is certain kind of antidepressants and what kind of the derivatives of barbituric acid, barbiturates you can say, or different kinds of other antidepressants as well, including equinol, which is actually having a tension reliever. It is a tension reliever, and that means it is a very strong tension reliever. The equinol that we have discussed, equinol sorry, equinol. So that is what we have discussed. This is a strong tension reliever. So all of these things and many more antidepressants are included here under this category. I hope you all remember the structures of these, very important, even including the serotonin and luminal, that is also of one kind. What all we have under this category of neurologically active drugs is nothing but the analgesics, that is the painkillers. So here we have analgesics. I am just trying to quickly revise the concept what we have done. So under the category of analgesics, first we have got, these are nothing but the painkillers, and what we had taken up in the last session was non-narcotic drugs. And I had asked you the meaning for non-narcotic drugs, that means the narcotic, the word narcotic. And the next what we are going to discuss is narcotic drugs. So what are basically these two? So I have got a word over here, this is narcotic. What is the meaning of narcotic over here? Narcotic is, I hope you must have got the meaning from the dictionary or from the Google. So basically narcotic means addiction, addictive. So that is non-addictive drugs. Non-addictive drugs, or I can say just the medicines. And over here, these are those substances, these are those chemicals which are actually the addictive drugs. They impose addiction onto the man. That means onto the human beings which consume these kind of medicines. So these are addictive drugs. So that is what we have discussed. We have discussed the non-narcotics. What are included in here? Very common examples. First is aspirin, paracetamol, ibuprofen. So all these three we have discussed in the last session. So aspirin, what we have discussed is aspirin. We have discussed was paracetamol. All of these are antipyretics. What are antipyretics? Which are actually fever reducing. So those are antipyretics. Also which is used is ibuprofen, Profen. So I hope you all have done this very concept and you have revised these concepts. Now let us move on to the narcotic drugs. But before moving on to the narcotic drugs, could you just try to draw the structure for ibuprofen over here? So if you remember it, what is ibuprofen? It is something like this. So I would like to tell one thing over here. In the last session, I had made one less carbon over here. You need to make a correction in your notebooks. So just pay attention. You need to have one correction over here, which is of this sort. So you need to add up one more carbon over here in order to have a proper ibuprofen structure. So I hope you all have got it by now. Now, moving on to the narcotic drugs, that means now they are serving as the addictive drugs. Addiction now has come up. So these are, yes, I know what you are thinking. These are the drugs which are actually called as the drugs and are taken up by some of the youngsters in order to have sedative effect. So that means these all medicines, these all drugs are included under the category of narcotic drugs having or imposing addiction, some kind of an addiction. So basically, what are narcotic drugs? They induce a sense of pleasure, they induce a sense of sedation. So they are induce sense of pleasure, or I can say sense of sleep. So they induce sleep first. What else? They also relieve the pain. So basically what we are dealing with is the analgesics over here, that means the painkillers. So narcotic drugs are also serving as the painkillers over here. So these are the painkillers. What else? If taken in higher amounts, what are the side effects? What are the adverse effects of narcotic drugs? So if taken, if consumed in high amounts or large doses, what can it lead to? Many things. It has got so many adverse effects. First is the addiction only. So first and foremost is the addiction. Second is it induces laziness, convulsions. So it results in laziness, convulsions. Convulsions leading to what? Leading to ultimately coma. So it is coma. And in some severe cases, whenever any human being takes up large doses of this very narcotic drugs, what happens is it can result into even death. So these are the adverse effects of narcotic drugs. If not taken in proper amounts, if not prescribed by the doctor, it can lead to even death. So that is what dangerous thing about these narcotic drugs is. So one must be having a proper knowledge of the quantities need to be taken as per the type of condition which is to be treated. So how are the narcotic drugs derived? From which kind it is derived? So basically this chemical, this very chemical is derived from poppy plant. So basically it is derived from, or I can say origin. So the origin is nothing but the opium poppy. So that is opium poppy. So that is why this class of narcotic drugs is also known as opiates. So these are known as opiates. So now, what actually opiate contains? Opiates actually contains chemicals. So the opiates contain chemicals known as, or I can say a class of chemicals, a class naming as alkaloids. So that is a new term for you. Under the organic chemistry, you can also study another class of compounds, that is nothing but the alkaloids. Most of the drugs such as heroin, morphine or even nicotine, all of these are included under the category of alkaloids. So that must be a new name to you. So opiates actually contain chemicals, or I can say the class of chemicals. I can even mention contain class of chemicals known as alkaloids. And these alkaloids, from these alkaloids we derive these narcotic drugs. So alkaloids can be used to derive, derive what? Derive these kind of narcotic drugs. So actually what all we have got from here is, first is morphine. So it is morphine. Second would be the codeine. Second would be codeine. And also I have got morphine, codeine, heroin. So these are the class of drugs that we are going to deal with. We have to just know the structure of morphine and we can generate these structures. The structures for codeine as well as for that of the heroin. Heroin is basically what? Morphine diacetate. Whereas codeine is morphine monoacetate. So once I get the structure for morphine, I can generate the two. So let us just try to draw the structures for each of these. So what is basically morphine? So here I am drawing the structure of the morphine first. You need to have such kind of structure. An aromatic ring over here, one bond over here. Now what do you need to have? You need to have OH. So the two OH are lying somewhat like this, and just try to first draw this structure, then I will be telling you what will be the different kinds of attachment between codeine and heroin. So here, if I try to compare it with the structure of codeine and heroin, so here codeine is nothing but morphine monoacetate. So instead of this one OH group, I would like to put one acetate group, that is OCH3 group. So that is how we are going to replace it. Let us just first complete the structure of morphine. So here what do I have? I have got NCH3. Now that has been connected to, this is N, and if you observe here very carefully, I have just represented this NCH3 with a wedge, and this is dash. So that is how the stereochemistry is arranged within it. So what is now going to happen? That is how the attachment would be. So that is the ultimate structure, the entire structure of morphine. I hope you all have got it. You need to draw the 4 rings just like that, and 2 OH assigned, finally this very group over here. So that is how you are going to make the structure for morphine. This is nothing but morphine. Let me just label it. Now let's move on to the structure of the codeine. So here I will be drawing only one structure for codeine, then I will be telling you how to replace the groups in order to make the heroine. So here again just draw with me simultaneously in order to have a better practice of the structure. So I want 4 structures interlinked, 4 rings in fact. So that is how I am linking the 4 rings. Just mind it, the 4th ring over here is a 5-membered ring having an oxygen in between. I need to make one as aromatic, the other one just having one bond. Now what next? I need to attach, yes, here there are 2 OH groups. So I need to replace one of them with OCH3, that will give our codeine. So here if I replace this very group with OCH3, and the remaining one as such, OH as such, what else do I need to have? A nitrogen attached. Similar kind as what we have drawn in the case of morphine. So I hope you all are able to make it with me. So that is how we are going to draw the structure, and this is nothing but the codeine. Now how do you try to make the heroine? So let us just draw the structure for heroine as well. So let me just rub this off first. Now most prominently used drug, very addictive. So basically what all I need to draw is again the 4 rings. That is how I need to draw the rings, completing the aromaticity, and finally I need to attach OCH3 and OCH3. Diacetate, I hope I am justifying the structure to you. That is morphine diacetate, also known as heroine, OCH3. So that is how you are going to make it. This is wedge, this is dash, like that. And what else? I am missing out here the nitrogen itself. Just remember to make it a dashed, because you need to represent a proper stereochemistry of the whole structure. So that is how you are going to draw. So that is nothing but the heroine. So I hope you all have got this. Now what is actually the use of these kinds of drugs, these kind of addictive drugs? So they are used as, I am writing down the uses. It's a pain reliever whenever it is post-operative surgery. So during post-operative procedures or I can say pains. Post-operative pain, it is used for the, in that case, whenever there is some kind of a surgery happened or some kind of operation has happened, in that very case, for that very pain, these very drugs are prescribed by the doctor. They are actually given by the doctors themselves. Why? Because first of all, they've got a sleep inducing effect. So in the case of so much of pain, the post surgery pain, so the patient requires sleep, a good sleep. So they induce the sleep as well as they reduce the pain. Also, they are actually kind of a sedative. That means, so they are actually used very well here in this case. Also, after the post pregnancy. So post pregnancy, any kind of operation or in order to avoid any kind of pain, these very drugs are most common. But what is the drawback over here? Due to the ultimate addiction of these drugs, they are not sold out just like that, but they are properly prescribed by the doctors. So they are not sold openly in market. Due to what? Due to their addiction properties. They are prescribed by the doctors. Prescribed by the doctor. So I hope that is very well clear to you over here. So you need to note this down, then I will be taking up the next class of drugs. So I hope you all have noted this down. Let's move on to the another class of drugs, that is antimicrobials. Yes, as the name suggests, micro, suggesting the microorganisms. Now we need to kill what? We need to kill the microorganisms, we need to kill the infection. So let us just move on to that. So here we are now going to discuss the antimicrobials. What are antimicrobials? Those which are related to microorganisms. So here microorganisms is the term. So what are actually the antimicrobials? Those which kill either the microorganisms or inhibit their growth, inhibit their development, leading to infection. So basically, what is the definition for these? Antimicrobials are those class of drugs which kill the microorganisms or inhibit or I can say prevent the growth or development of microbial species. So what all species are included under the category of microorganisms? They can be bacteria, viruses, fungi and so on. So I have got bacteria, I have got virus, fungi and so on. There can be other classes as well. So basically what we are dealing with over here are antibacterials, antibiotics we can say. So here we are going to deal with antibacterials, these kind of medicines which are actually antibacteria. They are killing the bacteria or diminishing their growth, inhibiting their growth, stopping their growth. So antibacterial. I've got antiviral. I've got antifungal and so on. So basically antimicrobials are the class of drugs, are the class of medicines which are actually treating the infections. So they treat the infections, they treat the infections arising due to growth of microorganisms. So actually these conditions can be internal within your body, existing within your body. That means some of the conditions may be viral infections. You get viral infection, you get cough or cold. That is a kind of a viral infection that is lying internally into your body. Or antifungal, antibacterial, that means any kind of infection on your skin. That is what? That is antifungal or fungal or bacterial infection. So these kind of class, this is a large or I can say the widespread class of the drugs, the medicines that we have got. So what do is they kill or stop the growth of microorganisms, causing the infection within our body, either inside or the exterior of the body. So I hope that is very well clear to you. Now let's move on to the growth of, or I can say how was the discovery of medicine took place. Medicine, nothing but the antimicrobials. So how actually the discovery of antimicrobials was, who discovered it? So it was a revolutionary kind of a discovery. Why? Because mostly we are affected in our daily lives, other than some kind of rare diseases or some kind of very harsh diseases. The main thing that is affecting us is the infections. The microorganisms which are around us, they are developing their habitat, they are actually adapting themselves according to the surroundings, and as per our conveniences, as per their conveniences, they are making us hosts in order to actually generate an entire colony. They can be lying within our bodies, they can be lying on our exterior. So as a matter of fact, I would like to tell you that bacteria and the microorganisms always exist within our body. They are every time within our bodies, they are every time within our, on the exterior of the bodies as well. So it depends upon body type, it depends upon person to person. If you have got a good immunity, then you will be protected against those microorganisms automatically. And there are some other kinds of bacteria as well, or I can say the microorganisms which are known as the good bacteria. Whenever you eat curd, it has got what? It has got bacteria. That means those microorganisms are actually improving your digestion process. So basically there are good bacteria, there are bad bacteria. Bad bacteria can lead to severe infections, even leading to kidney failure. Organ failure can also happen due to the bad bacteria, but good bacteria can serve as a proper functioning within our body. They can help in the metabolic processes happening in our body. So that is how the microorganisms are. They are living around us, they are living with us, and we have to build our bodies in such a way that it has having a good immunity, good immune system in order to get protected against those infections causing microorganisms. So let's move on to who discovered the drug, who discovered that very medicine which actually first of all protected against some kind of diseases. So that is the discovery of antimicrobials. So basically there was a scientist known as Paul Ehrlich. So the scientist was Paul Ehrlich. So he was basically a bacteriologist. What is a bacteriologist? The one who studies about the bacteria, their growth and their development. So that is what bacteriologist is. He was a bacteriologist and he was trying to develop that kind of a medicine which affects and kills the bacteria, but simultaneously it does not affect the host. Who is the host here? We are the host, the man. So basically he was trying to develop that kind of a medicine which kills the bacteria and simultaneously it protects us, it protects our body as well. So for that he developed a medicine related to arsenic. So he developed medicine containing arsenic. So that was arsphenamine. Arsphenamine class. Arsphenamine class of drugs, and the medicine actually known as salvarsan. So that was the medicine which he discovered. That is salvarsan. It is used to actually treat syphilis. It's a kind of a infection, it's a kind of a bacterial infection which is developed within our body and inside our body. In the later stages of this infection is, first of all, the rashes start appearing on our body and it starts affecting our internal organs as well, leading to the brain damage, leading to the nerve damage, even the eyes are damaged. So ultimately it's the death. So basically in the earlier times I am talking about, so this very scientist, it developed a medicine which contained arsenic in it. That was salvarsan. So what is the structure for salvarsan? It is something like this. I am making over here a benzene and another benzene. So let me just have a different kind of a configuration over here. These are the two arsenic groups which were contained within the arsphenamine. This is the class of compounds that he had discovered. And what else? That is how the compound look like. Two benzene rings attached. And I have got OH, OH, and what else? I have got NH2, and over here as well I have got NH2 lying opposite to each other. So that was nothing but the salvarsan. Now what he had found out was, his main motive was to develop a medicine which is not affecting the humans, but it is affecting the bacteria, it is killing the bacteria. So it does kill the bacteria, but simultaneously what was the side effect on the human beings? It was very, very toxic on human beings. Here he had taken up the compound arsenic. Arsenic is toxic to human beings. So this is toxic. So that means this very discovery failed. But he did not give up. He was simultaneously studying about a class of compounds. What kind of class of compounds? He was studying about azodies. So once he got the idea, he developed a very, very important medicine over here, which is sulfur drugs. So basically simultaneously he was studying about what? Azo dyes. So he was studying about azo dyes. And what are azo dyes? Having a similar kind of a structure, just as in the case of the arsenic compound that we have did, the sulfarsen. So the azo dye was having a structure like this. So finally, while studying, he actually found out the answer to this question. That means he found out a medicine which is not even affecting the human beings, but also serving as what? It was serving as a proper antimicrobial. That means it was killing the bacteria. So that was the azo dye, and a similar kind of an approach was here in that case. So the similar kind of approach was in the formation of prontonil. Prontosil basically. So from the concept of azo dyes, he made prontosil, this very medicine he made. So how does it make? Actually, let me just draw the structure. It contained again the azo dye. First of all, the similar kind of azo dye structure we have to make, and then again the benzenes. I need to draw here the aromatic rings. Let me just have it properly. Another kind of benzene ring over here. SO2, NH2. And what else do I need over here? I need NH2. And I need NH2 over here. So that was prontosil that he had discovered, a revolutionary discovery over here. This was a revolution. Because what was the quality of this medicine? The medicine, let me just write it over here. It killed the bacteria. Without affecting the host. So that was the main motive. So that is how there was the discovery of antimicrobials. And what do you observe over here? Here it's a group, this very group, as you can see. So this was the group which actually led to the discovery of the sulfa drugs. So what kind of a group is it? So let me just draw this here. This very group from prontosil. It led to the discovery of a class of compounds known as sulfonylamides. So that is what was discovered majorly, a class something like this. SO2, NH2, along with what? Along with here NH2 group. So that is nothing but sulfonylamides. So this was the major discovery over here. From this compound, sulfa drugs were discovered. And what is the most effective drug here in this case was, which was discovered, was sulfapyridine. So that was most effective drug. Sulfa drug which was discovered was sulfapyridine. Sulfapyridine. That means having this very group along with what? along with one pyridine group attached as well. So here let me just draw the structure. Just try to have an idea how I am drawing the structure here, but in a horizontal position. NH2 over here, and I have got SO2. I am expanding the structure like this, NH along with a pyridine group attached. So that is how it was. This is nothing but the sulfapyridine. I hope that is very well clear to you. So this led to the discovery of antimicrobials, and the class kept on growing, and now we have got so many kinds of medicines under the category of antimicrobials. I'll be taking up the details for this, that means antibiotics we will be discussing, and some more antifungals, antivirals. So just revise all the kinds of structures that we have did today, because these are very, very important class of compounds, and keep on practicing on daily basis. You need to have a proper sheet of where all the structures are written properly. You need to have a proper sheet for that. Keep it with you every morning whenever you wake up, or whenever you get time within the daytime. Just pick up that paper, try to revise the structures again and again in order to have a very easygoing examinations. That means you need not worry about then the pressure that you are facing in the examinations. You will be having a proper preparation at that time, because already you have done all the structures so far. So you will be utilizing minimum time over the structures at that time. So just keep on practicing and revising. Have a very good day.